Hi, it's Tess, and today's tip is 466, and I'm talking about weight loss and problem solving. And a lot of it has to do with weight loss. It is an issue that we need to address ourselves personally, but I found it interesting that a lot of people are always looking to somebody else to solve their problem. And I think it's a delay tactic or an avoidance tactic. So over the years, I've heard a lot about people not wanting to be told what to do or being careful not to think that you know the answer to everybody's problem. So I just looked up a couple of articles, one from Psychology Today and one from an article called Candidly that talks about problems and what's the best approach to dealing with problems. And what it kind of talked about, is it um, is it a bad thing to be aloof or uncaring? It's not that you're aloof or uncaring, it's that you're not putting your attention where somebody doesn't want it. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I know that as the oldest grandchild, I used to always be the one directed to kind of oversee people. And when people were young, it worked. As they got older, it didn't. So I thought it was really interesting. And I started like reading and looking into it. And it's like, sometimes it's a diversion tactic. If I try to solve everybody else's problems, I don't have to solve my own. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And I read a couple articles about it. It said that some people have learned to get comfortable trying to solve everybody else's problems and not look at their own. It says we have to be careful when peeps come to you that you don't get drawn into that you kind of, because really it goes back to the same basics. The only person we can change, or the only person we can solve a problem for, is ourselves. Now, if we have a close network and they're just sounding things off of us, the best thing we can do for them truly is to actually listen to them, to offer support but not advice, to ask if they need help, and then think about why it is you want to keep digging your hands into somebody else's business. I did for a long time think it was uncaring not to, that I was meant to help everybody else. But what I finally got to the point of realizing is that just because there's a certain way I think things are done, or I was groomed to do things, that doesn't mean that's somebody else's journey. And what tends to happen then is you get the conflicts going. And when you get the conflicts going, sometimes you eat your feelings away, and it does cause roadblocks in many areas of our lives. And I thought that it was really interesting. And again, this is Psychology Today and Candidly. And it says, we problem solve for our own need to control. So when we start trying to problem solve for other people, we're actually, it's actually a control thing. And I guess I will say that probably was with me being the oldest. I always thought that I had to oversee everything. So I thought it was really interesting. And I thought it helpful too, because when you get back to only looking at the area that you can control yourself, which is you yourself, it makes life a lot easier, because we don't know what's inside of somebody else. We don't know what their journey is, what their path is, or where they're headed. But it does talk about that. It's kind of arrogant and it's condescending to try to tell other people how to solve their problems. It says, when we try to problem solve, we aren't really listening to that other person, because our mind is already shifted to a problem solving place. So we're running through scenarios in our mind and not actively listening to be there for another person. And I just thought about how often, like even now, there's so much conflict and so many people having struggles. And I realize even for myself, I need to focus on keeping my journey moving forward. I have my hands out if somebody wants a hand up, but I don't need to stick my hand in and try to redirect them on how to do it the right way, because who is it that's going to decide what the right way is? So it was just kind of interesting, because I was trying to think about what to talk about, and the idea of problem solving came to play. And problem solving is my life, my background of even being on a finance background. Problem solving is my life. But recognizing that there are people, the only person you should really truly be, well, hi Tay, how you feeling, kiddo? The only person you should really truly be focusing your problem solving on is yourself, or like your immediate family area, because outside of that, you truly don't know all the dynamics underneath it. And what I think I found for a lot of people is a lot of people that I hear in groups and talking, they lose track of like their weight loss journey, because they get so involved in other people's business, and they get so frustrated that people aren't doing what they want to do. And it made me realize it's not our job to tell them what to do or how to do it. And that it is, as they said in this article, the best way to be a person that helps another person who's struggling with problems is not to problem solve, not to give them solutions, but just to really listen, to offer support, but not advice, and to ask them if they need help. Because generally all they want is to talk to somebody. And I see so many people in the groups I'm in, they get all worked up about trying to fix everyone's problems. And for a long time, I thought that was the way things were supposed to be, but we have to allow everybody the freedom to work through what they need to, reach their hand up if they need a hand up, but not to think that we know the absolute path that they're supposed to go down, because we don't know what their inner guidance is, what answers they're getting when they pray. We don't know all that inside thing. Their journey could be very different than ours. And I realize that sometimes people get caught up into fixing other people almost as a diversion tactic to end up addressing what they need to address for themselves. So I hope this helps you guys. It goes back to the same thing. The only person yeah, I bet you are feeling hot, Tay. You're the one. We need you to be healthy and happy for little Miles when he comes out, so I can teach him all the bad habits that I taught you and your siblings when you guys were young. But this world is a beautiful world, and I think that there's been a lot of disappointment and sadness and frustration, and I wonder how much of that is because we're all putting our hands into other people's business, trying to tell them how to live their life. And really what we need to do is be that friend that actively listens, offers support but not advice, and just asks if there's something we can help with. I think sometimes we get to that point where we think we're all knowing, and you can't be all knowing. You just need to be there and then let the person share with you what they're comfortable sharing. And if they need something, they'll tell them you're there for them, but let them reach out to you. So I hope you guys found this useful. We'll talk again really soon. I appreciate you all so much. And Tay, take care of yourself and the little one. And we'll touch base real soon. Thank you.